Welcome back to Frost Grown. My name's Katie, and today I'd like to show you how I made this window plant hanger.
To begin this project, we will start by assembling our fittings and spray painting them. We have a 1/2 inch elbow, a 1/2 inch flange, and a 1/2 inch nipple. We will now move these out of the way and then begin to stain our board that's going to go across the ceiling and attach to our beams. I'm going to be staining my board, but you're more than welcome to paint it, obviously, if that's what you want to do. To get the color of wood that I need, I'm going to be mixing 2 types of stain into this cup and then staining it. So I have red mahogany and cognac. So on the last plant stand that I did, this seemed to get me the correct color to match my wood floors. So I'm just going to give each of these a good shake. One would be smart to wear gloves with stain, but I don't have any. I mostly want the red tint because that's what my floor is. So I'm going to do a lot of this one. And then just a splash of this one. Clean up my work area here. Give this a little stir. And we'll just start staining this. Forgot my stain towel. So with stain, you put it on and then you wipe it off. All right, I'll let both of these dry. I'm gonna go clean my hands and I'll be right back. So finding the studs in the ceiling is extremely important because, I mean, if you think about it, when you're hanging plants, they have the soil, the water, the plant. This iron pipe is actually pretty heavy in itself. So you want this to be very sturdy and secure in the ceiling. I wouldn't trust just like the drywall anchors. I want to be very secure that this is not going to bring my ceiling down. So that's why I am triple checking and making sure that I am drilling into a beam in the ceiling. Unfortunately, my stud finder is not being accurate. I have made multiple marks on my ceiling where it has told me that there's a beam. I have tested 3 of those marks with my drill, with the tiniest drill bit that I have, and none of the 3 were on a beam. So I'm not going to be using my stud finder anymore. Instead, I'm excited to show you guys another trick that I know to find studs or beams. So for this trick, it's very simple, and most of us have this item on hand, and usually it hangs out on our refrigerator. A magnet. So what you do is you just run the magnet along the ceiling until you feel a pull, and that tells you that there is a nail, which indicates that there is probably a beam there, or a stud if you're looking on the wall. So I'm just going to run this magnet along my ceiling and kind of mark where I feel a pull, and we'll try to figure out which way the beams are going, because I don't know if my beams go north to south or east to west. So I'm just going to kind of run this along and mark up my entire ceiling. I suggest getting a stud finder that works, unless you're okay with, making little pencil marks and then erasing them after you're done. I don't think that anybody's going to really be evaluating my ceiling that closely. And if they should, they have a lot more to worry about than just my marks. So I'll start marking this up. Oh, see? And that is what you're looking for. So I'm going to go ahead and mark that. And then once you have a point where it stays, now you need to figure out which way your beam goes. So you need to take your magnet and go north to south, or vertical and then horizontal. So because I did not get any tugs going this way, I'm going to assume that my beam goes this way. So now I'm going to try that way. So we start at our point. And see, I already have another tug there. Oh, and another. And another. So yes, so my beam goes this way. So this is the beam that I'm going to attach my plant hanger to. But just to make sure, I'm going to test with the drill and make sure that whenever I drill here, I drill into a beam. Okay, so whenever you're drilling, you'll easily go through drywall, and once you hit the stud or the beam, it's harder wood, so your drill actually has to work harder. So that's how you know if you don't have much woodworking skills. You'll feel it, is what I'm saying. So to mark the beam, I'm just going to continue doing my magnet all along and just mark everywhere where I feel tug.
Now we will begin the actual plant hanger assembly. So the first step is to find the center of our board. So we will go from end to end, find center, and mark that. So my board is 68 inches. So I'm going to mark at 34. So I know that that is center on this board because I want the black iron pipe assembly part to be centered on this so it looks even. So now I have to find the center of the black iron pipe. So my pipe should be 5 foot because that's what I bought. Okay, and that's what it measures. So I'm going to be 2.5 feet, so 30 inches. And now I could try, I don't think. Yeah, no, a pencil doesn't show up on this. So I do have some tape. I'm just going to take a little piece off. And what I do to help me, the straight edge is where I'm going to mark. This cut rough edge, that's not important. This is center. So I'm going to put that right at 30 inches. There we go. And I don't want all of this. So now I just know I need to line up that straight edge of the tape with my line. But before we do that, I need to put on the ends of the pipe. So my pipe came from Sutherland's and it came with these little red tabs. That's just to keep the threads safe and you safe from the threads because these are extremely sharp. So do be careful. And we're just going to take our fitting that we painted and assembled earlier and just put it on. Okay, so now that this is all even, I just got to line up my tape mark, which of course is on my side of the camera. Okay, I think that's it. I'm just going to take a quick measurement from the end of the flange to the end of the board on both sides and make sure that they're pretty close. Perfect. So now I'm going to mark the 3 holes in each flange for the screws, so that way I know where to drill my pilot holes. Now that I have the 3 holes for each flange marked, I'm going to do my pilot holes, so that way once this board is up on the ceiling, I don't have to worry about trying to figure out where my flanges need to be. They're already marked and pilot holes already drilled. It's good to go. So I have decided, since I am putting this up by myself, I am going to put 1 pilot hole in the center of this board. That way, once I get it up and onto the beam, I can put 1 screw in to hold it in place while I take measurements on both ends to make sure that it's parallel with the wall. I think that's going to be my best bet. And another trick when you're working by yourself is to go ahead and put the screw in about halfway. That way, when you have it where you need it, it's already there and secure enough for you to get your drill in and go. Now I'm just going to try to do my best to get that center screw along the beam here that I have marked. Okay. So now that that's holding it in place, now I can make sure that this board is parallel with my wall and it's not all crooked and crazy. So I'm going to be measuring from that corner and that corner from the wall to the board and make sure that it's even. Now I'm just going to step down and just double check and look at it and make sure it looks good. All right, so it looks great. I did forget one very important thing, and I absolutely lucked out. So this center screw, not only is that important if you're doing this by yourself, but we marked center not only for the black iron pipe assembly that we made, but we wanted to have this center with your window. Just happened to work out for me. Please make sure that you do that. Otherwise, your whole plant hanger will be off-centered from your window. And I don't know about you, but that would drive me crazy. I can't believe I lucked out like this. So now that this is where I want it, I'm just going to go through and take more screws and really secure this to that beam because this is going to be kind of heavy. I do a lot of projects by myself, and this last Christmas, my mom bought me this magnetic bracelet, and she got such a kick out of how excited I was over this. But hey, I love it. It comes in so handy. Definitely recommend. Now it's time to put the black iron piece on our plant hanger, and I'm going to be using the same screws just because hopefully at least one of the screws on each flange will be into the ceiling beam. If not, it's not a huge deal because it's going to be into this wood, which is in the ceiling beam. And I'm not putting these first 2 screws in all the way, so that way if I need to adjust the flange to line up with my pilot holes, I can. Okay, I'll start with just securing this side and then I'll work over on that side. And by the looks of it, I have 2 screws left, perfect for that side. I should probably go buy a lottery ticket with this good measurement look on that and measuring the amount of screws I need. Doing pretty good. All right, here we go. We got it done. So now I'm just going to go through and use the same paintbrush that I stained this board with and just go over those screw heads. And then I have some black paint that I'm going to go over the screws and the flanges just to make it look like a good, nice finished product. Thank you guys for hanging out with me today. We got a great project checked off my to-do list. I think it turned out so good. I'm very happy with it, and it gave all these houseplants a lovely home. But unfortunately, I did have to take these from another spot in my living room. So I guess I will be out of here to go buy some more houseplants, which is always a good thing. Please let me know if you try this at home. And of course, if you do, please share pictures with me. Thank you so much for joining me, and I appreciate your love and support.